Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Howson, this is Full Time Devils, and today we are having a huge debate about who is going to win the World Cup. I've got three absolute legends with me, and the reason that we are doing the who is going to win the World Cup is because you guys voted for it. We have a vote after these debates. You can find it up in one of these corners. I think it's up in this corner over here. I think it might be this one actually. And you guys can vote, and you guys can tell us what you want to see us debate about. 51% of you voted for who's going to win the World Cup. There's going to be a lot of people who wanted a youth video, and I want man a youth video as well. So we're going to put that back in, and you can vote for that one this week. But just like Trump, you're stuck with this one today. So this is what we are talking about today. Now, World Cups for me, and I don't know about the rest of you guys, World Cups are different to the international break because the international break saps everyone's enthusiasm, doesn't it? You just get going in the season, there's a bit of momentum going, international break. And for United recently, it's killed momentum for us. But the World Cup's different, innit? This is why we're watching football in the summer, for the World Cup. So 168 games to go. Who is going to be crowned champions? I've got Joshi, I've got John Shin, and I've got Statman Dave to argue about who they think is going to win the World Cup this summer in Russia. And the cards are going to decide. So I'm going to go to Joshi first, and I'm going to say, let me just pull a card out here. I've got a card. Joshi, give us your guess on what this card is.
Seven of spades.
David, give me a guess on what this card is.
Three of hearts.
John?
Nine of hearts.
David is the closest. It's a four. And then it's Joshi, and then it is John. So, Dave, you get to go first. Please give us... So, you, Joshi? David, please give us who you think is going to win the World Cup and why. And then once you've finished, I'm going to get the other two lads to cross-examine your choice. Let's have it.
Well, I think it's going to be Germany. I think Germany is going to win the World Cup. And why? There's a number of reasons. I think tactically they're one of the most flexible sides we've seen in a long time. They remind me a lot of Real Madrid. They can play three at the back, they can play four at the back, they can play diamond in midfield, they can play 4-3-3. And I think that's what Joachim Löw has built with this setup and these players around, that they're so flexible. Their wing backs are very, very good. In central midfield, they have so much control. And up front, they've got a lot of different options, the likes of Thomas Muller, that can operate in areas that you just don't expect him to be there. But the big reason why Germany are going to win the World Cup, of course, is because they've not picked Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané, yes, he's done it in the Premier League, but he hasn't done it for Germany. In 12 games that he's played for Germany, he's failed to score a goal. He's only got one assist, and that's a goal or assist every 592 minutes. Joachim Löw was correct to drop the guy, and that's why Germany are going to win it. No Leroy Sané in the side. They went with Julian Brandt instead, who's absolutely excelled in the Bundesliga this season. A technical player that can do it both in attack and defence. Without Leroy Sané in the side, the bad egg, everything's going to be great. The likes of Joshua Kimmich can get nice and high. You know, one of the best fullbacks in world football for me. So good at getting into that sort of advanced area. We saw in the Champions League, this season how he contributed both assisting and scoring. He's got more assists than any fullback in all competitions this season, of course, for Bayern Munich. Moving further into midfield, of course, Toni Kroos, again, the best central midfielder in world football, is just going to control the tempo. We've seen what he's done for Real Madrid over the last few seasons. 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and it's going to be another World Cup for the German sensation. But where I think that it's really going to matter and where the game's going to be won and lost is up front. And Germany have some great options. Not only do they have Timo Werner, one of the most sort of coveted forwards in European football, whose pace and his acceleration and skill is going to score him a number of goals. I reckon he'll probably win the Golden Boot. But as well, you've got a guy that can come in and do the absolute business. And that is, of course, so not only have you got Timo Werner's 42 goals in the last 2 seasons for RB Leipzig, but you've got Mario Gomez. The guy loves an international tournament.
Dave, that joke is dead.
Operating either behind Timo Werner or Mario Gomez, it's going to be goals galore for Germany. And you look at the back as well, they've got some of the best defenders as well, the likes of Jerome Boateng, Mats Hummels, and of course Niklas Süle. So for me, Germany, it's game, set, match. Without Leroy Sané, they're going to lift the World Cup.
David, as much as I absolutely adore your Leroy Sané agenda, Joshi, please take apart this argument for Germany.
Look, Dave makes some good points, and look, they are one of the favourites. But there are a number of issues with this side. I think we've got, they've got Manuel Neuer as the captain. He's not played all season. Basically, there's a potential issue there. They've also got, I would say, one of the issues is that they're a very much Bayern Munich dominated side, or squad at least. And Bayern Munich, whilst they've absolutely dominated the Bundesliga. They've been found wanting in the Champions League. When it comes up against those elite level teams, a lot more blend in them. They can be found wanting, and we've seen that. The other thing to note is up front, again, they don't have that sort of big name, that reliable player. And even at Bayern Munich, they've got Lewandowski, and he was unable to sort of do it in the Champions League. So I think there are a few issues there. Maybe a little bit of a stale side as well at times. We think that Ozil probably will start, and he's a bit of in and out. And yes, you've made a point about Mario Gomez, but again, he's not really, doing the business. I think there are a lot of players.
He's just trying to resurrect a 2016 joke, Joshi. That's what he's trying to do.
It was a great joke, and I nailed it. Firstly, of course, you've got that Bayern Munich team, but you've got Toni Kroos in midfield, and that's the difference. Yeah. You've got a guy that controls the tempo for one of the best European sides of ever. In the whole entire history of football, Toni Kroos is the guy that if you put him back in Bayern Munich would probably go on to win the Champions League. In terms of goal scorers, it's Timo Werner. The guy is going to explode. 45 games in all competitions this season for RB Leipzig. 21 goals, 9 assists, directly involved in a goal every 113 minutes.
All right, Dave. John,
those are good stats.
John, pipe in here and give him some grief about Germany. Why aren't Germany winning it?
They could be favorites, but I think the one big reason that Germany's going to have a difficult World Cup towards the end, I'm sure they'll get out of the group stages, but the reason why they won't finish with the win is because of the fact that they lack the leadership that they once possessed. I mean, you're losing Per Mertesacker, you're losing Philipp Lahm, you're losing Bastian Schweinsteiger, and Bastian Schweinsteiger has been a massive asset to this squad, not just as a solid, stable midfielder, but if you look through those, if you run those clips in the past with Bastian Schweinsteiger's sort of his interaction with the German players, you can tell that he was a massive figure, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And losing not just Schweinsteiger, but somebody like Philipp Lahm and somebody like, not as much Mertesacker, but Schweinsteiger, Lahm, Mertesacker, the combination of the three, to lose all of that experience and lose all of that sort of leadership in this Joachim Löw side, who likes to scratch his nutsack and who likes to sniff it, who likes to pick his nose and who likes to eat it. It's going to be a much different campaign than the past 2 campaigns or the past 3 campaigns, and it's definitely going to take a toll. And although I do see him as one of the strong favorites, I think it's going to be a very, very different elimination stage for these guys.
It's interesting, you talk about leaders. So in the World Cup final in 2014, Matt Hummels, Boateng and Manuel Neuer were the back 3 players. Those guys are leaders, and they're going to be playing in this World Cup. You look into midfield, Schweinsteiger's gone, but you've got Toni Kroos and Sami Khedira, who are now veterans of the game. Consistent winners in their career. You throw in there Thomas Muller, who also played in that game, Mesut Ozil. There's loads of guys that have got those leadership qualities that, Bastian Schweinsteiger's gone.
Not Ozil. I'll give you the rest, but not Ozil. Come on.
But as in, he's done it. He's been there and he's done it. He's won the World Cup. But it also can't say anything about that. He knows how to win the World Cup. It's a big thing in terms of leadership, to lead, to drive
all right.
to play the through balls to Timo Werner.
David.
Simply Germany are going to win the World Cup.
Right.
I think
we've had that there with David. All right, we've had it. Relax. Joshi! Shut it! It's your go now. So let's hear who you think is going to win the World Cup and why.
So Dave made some good points about Germany, and one thing I think they lack is just that little bit of
Joshi, who did you pick?
Star quality, right? So, but I've gone with a team that has balance. It's got fight. It's got steel. It's got creativity. It's got flair. It's got. It's also addressed some of its historical weaknesses. I'm going to go with Brazil. Okay, they started off the qualifying campaign fairly poorly. A new coach came in when they were in 6th place. This Tite chap who used to manage Corinthians, and he sorted them out. They've played some of the best football that they've seen in years. They're no longer overly reliant on Neymar like they were in the last World Cup. They have a plethora of players with top level experience of winning tournaments. So they've got an incredible blend. They've got a blend of experience and of youth as well. So when you look at it, you've got the at the back, they've got a choice between Alisson Becker at Roma and Ederson at City, right? So there's already, you can see there's 2 quality players, 2 quality goalkeepers. And in the past, I'd say that's been a weak spot for Brazil. They no longer have that. Fullbacks historically excellent, and again, they're still excellent at this time with choice like Felipe Luis, Marcelo, Wagner, Danilo. You know, they've got those players that can play in at fullbacks. Centre backs have got world class quality in Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Miranda. So you know they're solid at the back, and this is something that is actually the Brazil public has started to accept. They need to be a bit more. They can't just be bombing forward all the time. They want the results, so they don't mind fighting it out. And when you've got players like Fernandinho, Casemiro in midfield as well, you've really got that steel and that ability to pass in midfield as well. So you've got all of that, and then we come to what we talk about with Brazil historically. Talk about the flair players up top, the quality, the goals, the skill. You've got Neymar, you've got Coutinho, you know, and with all of that, you've also got Gabriel Jesus. You know, one player I haven't mentioned who's really going to be a driving force from midfield, our new man, Fred. Apparently, you pronounce it Frazier, apparently, but I'm going to call him Fred. So, you know, you've got a real mix of ability. You've got
in Portuguese, for those of us like me that can speak Portuguese, fridge.
Oh,
it's
is
like
it
fridge, but with a bit of fridge.
Okay, so fridge. Okay,
normal.
so yeah. So you've also, and then you've got,
Portuguese,
we're talking about, so you've got real balance there in terms of players who can pass it, players who can fight and tackle, players who can travel with it in midfield and really play that box-to-box role. And then you've got the likes of Douglas Costa, who did I mention earlier, Neymar, you know, Gabriel Jesus, and you've got Roberto Firmino as well. Look, I mean, these are players that are, you know, playing for some of our direct rivals, but we have to admit that they are quality players. So this Brazil squad has that great balance of experience. It's got good youthful energy. It's got quality, and it's the balance between just the flair and outright footballing sort of fantasy with the solidity you get with all of those players that I've named. You're basically coming up with a squad that is primed and ready. And I think the key point to make about this squad, it was massively reliant on Neymar. In prior to this World Cup qualifying campaign, but now they really have a good balance. Even so, when he's not been in the side, they've still taken teams apart. So I think with
you didn't watch him this weekend, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, there was garbage.
Okay,
there was absolutely garbage. And then Neymar came on and scored a wonderful individual goal.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you see, there you go. He's still able to make that impact. But the point
the point you was about to make was that they don't rely on him.
Hey, you're basing it on one match. I'm basing it on
I watched the match. You didn't watch the match
game.
for the team that you're claiming is going to win the World Cup.
Competitive campaign. Imagine base an entire World Cup prediction on a single friendly game, Stephen. You know that. You know better than that.
Okay.
We've been
Which
there
other games of Brazil have you watched?
Season. Sorry?
Which other games of Brazil have you watched?
So as I was saying earlier, with this blend that they've got, with the players in the team, and look, they've got a blend of players who are currently playing in Europe. So look, I just think that this is probably the most complete squad in the tournament. I don't think you can find a weakness in the players. Okay, there may be weakness in mentality, in tactics, given that this is a South American coach coming over to Europe. But I don't think so, given the way in which they've played since he's come in. But you cannot find a single weakness in the squad in terms of personnel. And especially in terms of everything that I've already spoken about, and I defy you to find any weakness in that squad in terms of personnel.
John, Terry's squad to pieces.
I mean, it's pretty it's a pretty difficult ask, to be honest. I mean, I was sitting here trying to figure out a way.
John, it's a debate. Just lie.
I got you. Here we go. I think Brazil's I think Brazil's only shot at their downfall is going to be their quality in Marcelo. And if you talk about Marcelo, he has had an excellent season for. Hey, whoa! Don't give me that stank face. Marcelo has had a fantastic season on the left-hand side. I think personally for me, he is the world's greatest left back for the past 2 seasons or so. However, I think that's going to be Brazil's downfall because he doesn't have the same same sort of commanding 11 that he does with Real Madrid. Now, don't get me wrong, Brazil has a great starting 11. However, I think Marcelo's tendencies to drive down that left-hand side on a more sort of consistent basis than not is going to leave a lot of space behind him. And on top of that, we're missing Dani Alves in this tournament. And of course, you guys can say Dani Alves has had a sort of dip in quality since the last tournament, and he's obviously not even going to be in this tournament. And I think that's going to pose a very, very different sort of format for this Brazil side, and it's going to be a difficult ask.
So, John, I get where I kind of don't get where you're coming from, given you've just said Marcelo's one of the greatest left backs of the last few years, and that's apparently a weakness. But as I mentioned earlier, this team understands that they need to be solid as well, which is why they've got the likes of Casemiro, Fernandinho, Paulinho in that midfield area, even Willian coming in on the other fullback side, so that when the fullbacks do, that other right-hand side, when the fullbacks do bomb on, there is that presence, that tactical awareness with the likes of Paulinho and Fernandinho and Casemiro. And Casemiro, part of that Real Madrid side that has won 3 in a row in Champions League football as well.
All right,
so he's
Joshi, all right, Joshi,
massive
calm
part
down.
there. So
David,
look,
tear this squad to pieces, please.
Well, I think first and foremost, Brazil have won the World Cup 5 times, but they've never won it in Russia. That's firstly going to be a bit of a problem for them. Moving further forward to their team, them selecting Gabriel Jesus over someone like Firmino is absolutely mad. And that's the problem, that he's selecting players because he likes them. Firmino isn't going to start. Firmino should be starting. We've seen how he's, worked with Mo Salah this season. They've become such a deadly duo together. And Firmino isn't going to be starting for them. And that is crazy. It's going to be Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, he scored a few goals in qualifying. But Roberto Firmino, not only can he press, not only can carry the ball on the counter-attack, he can assist, he can score. The guy is one of the best false nines in world football right now, and he's going to be slung on the bench. Not only that, Fred's going to be on the bench. Casemiro, Fernandinho, Paulinho, no thank you. I want Fred the Red in the team. Fred, one of the most dynamic players that I've ever seen play in European football. So good at working off the ball, but also when he's on the ball, so calm, collected. There's going to be no Fred in the team. Therefore, Brazil are going to be rubbish. You also mentioned Neymar. Do you remember the last World Cup, Joshi? Neymar got injured. Oh, no. Brazil absolutely fell apart. 7-1 by Germany, and that's why Germany are going to win the World Cup.
So let me address each point. The first one about Roberto Firmino relates a little bit back to the way in which you were talking about Leroy Sané. Look, it's about the squad and it's about the team. It's about the players there. If Jesus is the player doing the business, doesn't matter how good the other player is, right? But the other thing to say is Firmino is an option. He's in the squad. He's there. He will come on and he'll do the business. Then you were talking about, who else were you talking about? Fred. Look, that's an option. It's a squad game. It's still a squad game, even in a knockout competition. And as I mentioned before, this team is less reliant on Neymar than it used to be. So all of these points, you guys are clutching at straws. I've already addressed all of them.
All right, we've heard off Joshi. We've heard off Dave. Let's have John. John, who are you going for here for winning the World Cup in 2018?
Can I just say that every single damn debate, I'm always freaking last, so I'm always left with these.
Pick better with the cards, John. It's random. You get the chance to pick better.
I don't even get a chance to pick the first card, and Adam always picks 7, so that's like smashed in the middle. All right, you know what?
Well, yeah, you go 6 or 8, and that takes away the advantage that he's got. Think about it, John. Tic-tac for the card picking.
You're right. I'm going to have to go with France. Now, France has not enjoyed international success as of late, besides their Euros finals finish. But I think France has the quality now to finish with a World Cup title. Of course, you guys are going to tell me Brazil and Germany, they're going to outweigh France in terms of the squad depth, etc. No, I think France has what it takes, especially when it comes down that front line with the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, alongside Olivier Giroud, Antoine Griezmann. That's a fantastic attacking option. And I think they have what it takes. I think they found the right balance. I think Deschamps has failed too many times not to steer.
No, it doesn't work like that. Otherwise,
No, it does. Let me finish. Didier Deschamps had an absolute meltdown in the Euros against Portugal, and I think that must have been a huge wake-up call for Deschamps. And I think this is his tournament. If he doesn't win it here, it's going to be the axe. It has to be. This guy has had great players to at least come up with something in the past 5-6 years or so, and I think he has the right blend. He has the sort of spine led by Hugo Lloris. I think he's been a fantastic asset in that French squad. At the back, a little bit shaky if you look at that squad, but Rafael Varane has been fantastic for Real Madrid alongside Samuel Umtiti. That's Real Madrid's and Barcelona's stars defenders right there off the bat. And if you're looking at the midfield options, I think Blaise Matuidi is going to be that veteran to sort of link the entire squad together. But of course, our main man Paul Pogba is going to be alongside that squad, and you're looking at Kanté as well, who's also not had the greatest of seasons, but I think a blend of Matuidi, Kanté, and Pogba is a force to be reckoned with. You could talk about Cruz. You could talk about Casemiro. You could talk about all these guys. But damn, I forgot the French word. But anyway, my point is, France has got the depth. It wasn't Viva la France. Fuck, I'm just like spacing out right now. But anyways, I think France has got the right amount of depth. I think they've got the right amount of creativity and a blend of balance and experience to take the World Cup.
All right, David, do you want to tear his squad to pieces?
Do I even need to start? He said the guy's name, Didier Deschamps. The guy had the most talented squad at the European Championships and lost to Portugal in the final. The guy's an idiot. He can't get the best out of Pogba. He struggled to get the best out of Griezmann. He only started to play Griezmann as a second striker. What was it in against Iceland when they won 4-1 at like the quarter-finals? That guy is a complete idiot. He doesn't have a clue. He's got no chance. When you're looking at someone like Joaquim
John,
Low,
why have you got my sweepstake team? Why have you got my sweepstake team flag? Put it down, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you got no connection with that country.
Yeah. Bandwagon jumper. Anyway, David, have you finished taking them to pieces or not?
Didier Deschamps is an idiot, so they're never going to win
Joshi,
it.
So,
do you want to take apart France?
The biggest thing is, first of all, Deschamps, we've already covered very well. Dave, thank you very much for that input. But the other thing is, this is a collection of individuals. You only have to see the way in which they play. They've been playing recently. You've got Matuidi. Yes, you talk about his experience, but why is he the one being played in an advanced role and Kante and Pogba playing deep? Seems weird to me. They're a collection of individuals, and there's a mentality in the squad which it's not a collective. They're not playing together. That's the biggest weakness of this France squad. I think they kind of almost believe their own hype. Even the French media have been asking questions about the mentality of this side. So when you bring in mentality and the coach, those are huge factors. You can't just win matches just through sheer talent and individual players. You can do it only so far, but they will come up against a team. I think whether it's Argentina, anyone who's half decent with a more of a team collective. I don't know why I said Argentina because they're not that good, but anyway, if they came up against anyone decent with that sort of team collective and a cohesive strategy, like Germany, like Brazil, then they're going to go down. I don't think they've got that overall understanding of how to play together down to a T, and that comes down to the manager.
Right, we've got some comments that I'm going to read out. So the Great Challenge says, David is wrong. Sweden will win. That's all you need to break Statman Daddy on this. Okay. I don't know if that's some sort of in-joke.
It's a debate, not nonsense.
Okay. The Tesso says, so what if Neuer hasn't played all season? If Messi doesn't play all season and he's fit, you play him. It's the same thing. I disagree. I think the concentration and sharpness of a goalkeeper, the errors that a goalkeeper can make can cost you a game. You're looking for a striker to create things. If they're making mistakes, it's not really going to cost you games the same way as a striker is. Germany had such an embarrassment of riches that playing Neuer ahead of the rest of them, I think that might be Germany's weakness. That really took them down a notch.
You're saying Manuel Neuer is Germany's weakness?
No, I'm saying a Manuel Neuer that's been out for 9 months is Germany's weakness.
Yeah, he had a heel injury. It's got nothing to do with his reactions or anything like that. He had a heel injury.
One of their many weaknesses, Stephen.
Anyway,
one of their many weaknesses.
Tom says Senegal to win. They've got the thickest legs. Jordan Aaron Smith says he knows how to win the World Cup. Fallacy. Everyone knows how to win the World Cup. You score more goals. Just for that, Captain Obvious. Righty says Brazil agreed they have very thick legs. AT says truth. The final will be decided between Spain and France. Not sure about that one. Mr. TNT says Brazil hopefully great squad depth and loads of game winners. Remember what last time happened? We signed a midfielder that had just won a World Cup. Maybe not. Walter says Africa would win a Continental Cup. I'm going to have to disagree with you completely there, my friend. Do you think that Africa as a continent could beat an 11 that Brazil, Argentina, Colombia could put together?
Europe, mate.
I didn't even want to get into Europe. I mean, Europe, obviously, you've got the blend of that French squad, the blend of that Spanish team with the Germans and Ashley
Italy.
Young. Yeah. I'm sorry,
no
mate.
offense.
No.
I'm from Africa,
would
by the way.
potentially come third.
So it's not a slight on Africa. It's just.
I think they beat North America, but I don't think they're beating Europe or South America in that. I think that's a given. Zarelli says the World Cup is coming back to Mexico. When has it ever been to Mexico? Apart from when you hosted
86.
the tournament. Dominique says the stage is set for Lings. Loves a big game. And that is it for the comments. Right, we're doing a sweepstake on Full Time Devils. You can find it on Twitter. It's our pinned tweet, and you can go and follow the teams there that we've all got. Adam has got Saudi Arabia. He's absolutely devoed. I've got Korea. I think Dave's got Colombia. John's got Argentina. Who have you got, Joshi?
Poland. Lewandowski's going to win it.
There you go. Rachel Riley's got Iceland. There's all sorts of people involved. Jamie Jackson's in there. Loads and loads of them. So go check it out and follow the tournament with everybody there.
There's 32 of them, in fact.
There is. It's 32. Josh is correct. That's why he's a doctor. Right. We are going to go to the 32nd round. We're going to go in the order that we started. This is your time to either trash everybody else's argument or give me the bullet points that I can remember when I'm making my decision for who's going to win this thing. So, Joshua, we're going to go with you, and then we're going to go to Dave, and then we're...
It's the other way. I thought we were going in the same order.
Sorry, yeah. It's Dave, then Joshua, then John. Okay? Everybody ready? David, you've got 30 seconds to tell us why Germany are going to win the World Cup.
Well, first, of course, the big thing is no Leroy Sané. The bad egg has been slinged back to Man City, and he's got to stay there for the summer. But you combine that with, of course, Toni Kroos, Joshua Kimmich, and Manuel Neuer. 3 players that are arguably the best in the world in that position. You combine that with the fact that Brazil have won it 5 times, but never in Russia. There's going to be no Firmino and no Fred in the starting 11, but it's going to be a big, big problem. And then Didier Deschamps, that's France out the bin. But finally, you're struggling. You've got 10 minutes to go. You throw one man on, and you win the World Cup.
I don't think I can pick you on the basis of that Mario Gomez thing. Joshi, would you like
Do
to
I
go
even need to go?
and tell us
Do I even
why
need
you
to do my
think
go?
Brazil can win the World Cup in Russia?
Yeah, ready?
Go.
Oh, right, yeah. No, well, there's basically no weakness to this Brazil squad or team. And these guys tried to pick it out, but I've obviously refuted everything they said. The thing to point out with David, the biggest reason they're going to win is because of a player who's not there, weird one, and we've already covered a lot of France's issues, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to win this.
Wow, the arrogance is real.
That's the only reason he won't give it to me.
It might be because your argument was non-existent. Maybe it was that. I don't know. John,
Shut!
You ready?
France is gonna win.
That's a compelling argument.
Let me tell you why. I got 5 seconds. I don't even care. France is gonna win because Deschamps is the GOAT.
Kill the music before you get us pulled.
I'm done.
Okay, so Deschamps is a GOAT. Here's the national anthem. I'm going to stand up and cut myself out of the shot. I've got Mario Gomez, or I've got Josh's non-existent argument to go through here.
What do you mean non-existent? I said it's the most complete and balanced squad in the entire tournament with a manager who knows how to use it.
Steve, remember the point. No Fred, no Firmino, no Party. They've never done it in
They're in
Russia.
the squad. How can you say that? They're
Listen,
in the squad.
I can't decide, so you guys are going to vote and you guys are going to comment. We're going to have the vote up in here, in this corner. Who wins the debate out of these lot? Is it going to be Brazil? Is it going to be Germany? Is it going to be France? Or is it going to be my boys, South Korea? Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win, and I'll tell you why South Korea are going to win, because they are the 3rd lowest ranked team in there, and no one suspects them. They're all doing scout reports on Argentina and Brazil, and then South Korea is going to come in there and absolutely annihilate them.
Who's
So
their best player?
No idea. So vote in the corner up here.
You
This
mean
one.
Son? Easy.
Oh yeah, it's Son, it's Son from Tottenham, of course it is. Comment who you think is going to win, and vote who you think is going to win the World Cup as well, because I can't decide, because all these arguments was absolutely terrible. So
Dude,
thank you guys
mine
for
was
watching.
amazing.
I'm sure there's going to be some more World Cup content coming out on Full Time Devils, so keep it locked, and we'll have all our usual United stuff out as well. We're going to be back at 11 o'clock tonight with tomorrow's transfers today. Make sure you're tuned in for that one. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you in the next one.